Mumbai ground. Victor Tango Golf India Zulu.
Victor Tango Golf India Zulu, Mumbai ground. Go ahead.
Mumbai ground. Victor Tango Golf India Zulu. On 121 decimal minor. Stand Alpha 2. Pre-flight radio check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read?
Victor Tango Golf India Zulu, Mumbai ground. Read you 5. Primary 8780. Secondary 707576.
Read U5. Primary 8780. Secondary 707576. Victor Tango Golf India Zulu.
Very nice call, Achal. Go to next question. Very good. Please send me a picture of the call. Good rate of speech, very comfortable, slow, good enough for the ATC or the examiner to write it down. In the examination, by the time you have practiced and learned more, by the time you would feel that you are ready for the exam, your rate of speech could increase a little bit. It's okay. If you increase it a little bit than it is right now, Achal, then it's fine. Then also it's fine. Very good call. A good radio, pre-flight radio check on VHF. After that, I've given you the frequencies on HF, and for which you have given me a read back. That is good. Well done. So students, see, initially, please practice your calls, not necessarily a pre-flight check. You could just give any call. You can consider yourself to have any question, and you can take any call. Well done. So that's why I was waiting for someone to start, and today Vishnu is not there. Generally, since past 2 days, Vishnu has been doing it on his own. So today, Anshul, thank you for doing it. Others, you're just quiet, waiting for others to do it. See, the more you'll take calls, the better you will figure out your mistakes, and the better will be your performance. So please practice your live call so I can give you individual feedback. Right? So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class. We have Vignesh. We have Vignesh. We have Rishi, Sahil, Likit, Achal, Jyotsna, Neha, Sajal, Hardik, Priyam, and Pooja. So Sharvi is not there. Swarnab is not there. Swardeep is not there. So many students are not there. Because everyone's busy with work, job, something or the other. So they'll be catching up. It's like that. Sushma is not there. And then I think Harsim is not there today. So all stations, Mumbai Control. How do you read? Anyone who cannot hear me, 5 will give me a response. All stations, Mumbai Control. How do you read? All right, very good. Everyone can hear me. Priyam, nice. Pooja, see Pooja, try to practice a few calls today. Rishi, where is Rishi? Okay, Rishi is there. Rishi, I hope you can hear me well. All right. Okay. Any questions anyone has? We are going to start straight away from our topics today. So yesterday we learned quite a lot important things with respect to a chart and information in the chart. And if you all remember, I had given you all a couple of things to figure out on your own. So if you have anything that you have figured out, please share it in the chat box or verbally. And Sajal, please go ahead. What is it that you want to ask?
Sir, yesterday I was practicing weather deviation call. And at last, I wrote all exterior lights on, keep a lookout. So how to rectify that error, last 2 lines?
Last 2 lines, whenever you are whenever, one second, whenever you are deviating on your own, that's when you say those things. All exterior lights on, keep a lookout. All exterior lights switched on, keep a lookout. That is correct. That statement is correct. Only when you're doing weather deviation or any deviation on your own is when we use it, but it looks correct. What's the correction that you want me to do?
Sir, I thought we use this only in pan call. In
See,
pan
only
calling.
in pan call do we deviate on our own. Any deviation on our own is a pan call. Okay. So there you are right. Yeah, any deviation on our own is a pan call. So what's the confusion? What is this weather deviation call that you're talking about? Give me the whole call. Give me the situation and give me the call, Sajal. Let's see.
Sir, it was the example which we did in class, like we receive a weather warning ahead. So at 90 DMEs, we'll deviate on our own, that call.
See, Sajal, listen to the question carefully. Everyone notice what we are talking about. Ayush, Bhavin, Anwar, welcome to the class. Students, can you hear me on a scale of 5? If yes, great. If no, then do a readability check. Okay, we have a point, we have a question that weather deviation, Sajal is discussing a point. Sajal, what is the question? You get bad weather warning ahead. Are you with
Yes,
ATC or not with ATC?
sir, with ATC.
With ATC, then you request for a weather deviation.
Yes,
You
sir.
don't deviate on your own. Do you know the difference?
Yes, sir. Request for weather deviation.
So tell me your call. Read out your call. Read out your call.
Sir, I did Hyderabad Control, Air India 9019er, 60 DME, outbound Hyderabad, Whiskey 20, flight level 310, radial 158, received weather warning over Budal, reaching 990 DME, outbound Hyderabad, would like to turn right for 15 nautical miles at 10 nautical mile, will climb by 300 feet, duration 10 minutes. To avoid weather, request weather deviation.
That's it. Stop it there. Perfect call. That's it. If you're requesting for weather deviation, this is where you land. Request weather deviation. What have you written after that?
Sir, by mistake, I wrote all exterior lights on, keep a lookout.
No, just cut it. You will only do that when you're deviating on your own, and all those deviation on your own are called pan calls. Simple. You're right about it. Remove this. And see, calls of such concern, your position report was nice. I would say that it is nice. You stick with it. Just don't say we'll climb by 300. So by, by word here, preposition, you don't use that. Otherwise, the call is very good, Sajal. Just remember that all exterior lights on, keep a lookout, because it's not applicable here. You don't have to do that when you're requesting weather deviation in touch with ATC. Okay. And you said estimating 90 nautical miles outbound that particular place. Was that reference given to you in question, or you have just assumed it?
Sir, assumed it that after 90 DME, I'll deviate.
Yeah, so that didn't seem little right. You could just say that, just give me weather deviation now only. So you can skip that part also.
Okay.
The present position 60 DME outbound station. Just say weather warning ahead, would like to deviate to the right for 15 nautical miles. At 10 nautical miles, will climb 300 feet. So these words should be as it is. Duration 10 minutes. 10 is not a number. Students, come on, basics. 0 to 9 are only numbers. So 10, 10 is not a number. So those corrections you make, Sajal. Got it?
Got it, sir.
Yeah, then the call, already it sounds good. Even then also it will sound good. Even if in this call you end up saying all extra lights on, keep a lookout, they are not going to deduct your marks because everything else you have done correctly. And it's just that you have switched on all exterior lights on just to grab attention, probably because maybe there are a lot of clouds that you want to do that. Maybe. So even then, if you would have done this call also, it would have been correct. But if you want a perfect call, then I'm giving the perfect call also. All right. Good job.
Okay, sir.
Not bad. Very good. Going good. Anyone has any other questions? For weather deviation, can we request for a higher flight level? Students, generally, if you can anticipate that you can deviate, you can avoid the clouds, by climbing or descending, then definitely you can request for a climb or a descent. Otherwise, you will horizontally only deviate, maintaining your flight level, just like the procedure that Sajal explained. Got it, everyone? Bhavin, does that answer your question? It does. Just remember, if you anticipate that climbing or descending will help you clear the clouds, then you can request for a flight level and then change the flight level. You cannot do it on your own. Flight level changes you will not do on your own. Not do on your own. Only in one situation you can do it. That's when rapid decompression. That's when you can descend. Other than that, if your aircraft is in control, then you will never change your flight levels without ADC permission. So chances are pilots could be climbing or descending sometimes to avoid certain cloud sectors, but that's subject to ADC clearance only in that case. Don't do it on your own. On your own, you'll just stick to the weather deviation procedures and try to laterally avoid the bad weather. Any more questions? Anyone? All thorough with your protocols? Yes, Vignesh?
In the previous question, if I want to, avoid the weather and I'm taking a deviation to my right, do I need to mention my radial as it's how much deviation I need?
15 nautical miles. 15 nautical miles to the right.
Right.
And out of those 15 nautical miles, as you reach 10 nautical miles, this is from the center line of your airway. Okay. Airway center line. So from the airway center line, you're going 15 nautical miles to the right. Okay. So that is the range. That's it.
Okay.
From the route, that's the maximum you can deviate. 15 nautical miles, either right or left. So that distance reference is given to you. Radians and all, you can still maintain with the respective VOR stations. Even though you're off the route, you can still maintain a radial and fly. No problem. Anything going on in your mind, students, that you want to discuss? Anything extra? Anything? No questions? Anwar, nice to see you live in class. Ayush and Vignesh, nice to see you all. Anwar is asking whether deviation without ATC transmission will pan or all aircraft. Pan, all aircraft, both. Students, you'll only make call to all aircraft when you are deviating on your own. And whenever you're deviating on your own, it's an urgency call. It's both one and the same thing. It's a common confusion students get. Make sure you all are not confused with this. All aircraft, pan, both are same call, students. Come on. You'll only make a call to all aircraft when you're deviating in that aircraft without the permission of ATC. So that's why you call all aircraft. And whenever you're deviating on your own, it's a pan call. So the call is pan, all aircraft in the vicinity of so-and-so, Air India 123, bad weather ahead, no contact with ATC, turning right 15 nautical miles. At 10 nautical miles, you'll climb 300 feet and maintain parallel on deviated track to clear weather. All exterior lights on, keep a lookout. Simple. That's it. But Anwar, did you get it? What did I say? Every student who's asking a question, kindly acknowledge if it's resolved for you or not, okay? So I can move on to the next question. Anwar, able to confirm?
Confirm, sir.
Good. Sir, at the end of lecture, can we please? Okay. Yeah. So I will teach you all these things. We have a question. Can we talk about how can we reduce dead air? I have 3/4 seconds. 3/4 seconds dead air in my call. 3/4 seconds, it's fine, students. You should not increase your dead air by more than 5 seconds. By rule, the dead air limitation, the gap in between what you say, is 10 seconds. But in practice, we follow 5 seconds. Got it? So, Bhavin, 3/4 seconds is not bad. You can go ahead with it. Still, I'll be giving you all techniques today, important techniques before we do the mock session. All right, so let's get started. I'll teach you a couple of extra things today. Sector flying, we have already done in your flap stuck call. Some students might not have gone through that lecture. You will be going through it, but still we'll see. What is sector flying? Now, sector flying, basically, purpose could be, what could be the purpose for which you will request sector? Purpose could be mineral survey flight. Okay. Second could be search and rescue flight. Okay. Third could be training flight. Fourth could be ILS or VOR calibration flight. Sometimes you can request sector to exhaust fuel before landing to avoid and prevent overweight landing. So what is a sector? Like I said, if this is your runway tower, okay, then based upon this runway, if I show you from the top view, let's say runway and tower, then you have certain radials, 0, 0, 0, then to the right 90 degrees, 0, 980, and then continuing to the right 180 degrees. So these are basically a cardinal points or directions or magnetic directions, whatever you call it, and 360 like this. So these are the values of magnetic directions or radials. If your aircraft is somewhere here flying in this direction going away, then what is the radial of this aircraft? You quickly make a diagram like this from the center of the aircraft in the center, then take the reference north, which is 0, 0, 0, and measure clockwise this angle. Whatever this angle is between 0 to 360 is your radial. With respect to this station, let's say it's Mumbai, Bravo, 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 VOR. So what is the radial approximately? Radial 315. So the aircraft is on a radial 315 right now. Okay. Now, if I want a sector, I can request any two radials and I can fly in that sector in a closed loop. So I can say, give me radial 315 and give me radial 270. And that I will do at a flight level of about 50 or flight level 60 or flight level 70. These are generally the selected flight levels for sector flying. So whenever you will be requesting for a sector to fly, for what purposes would you need a sector to fly? You could need a sector to survey mineral on the ground from above. Okay. Or you can do survey to initiate a search and rescue operation. Or you could do a sector flying just as a trainee pilot to check a few things. Or you could do a sector flying just to kill time also, or to exhaust fuel to prevent overweight landing. In cases where your departure has failed and you have to just after departure, after takeoff, something went wrong and you have to land back. In those cases, aircraft is overweight for landing. So we can exhaust fuel, we can burn fuel. We cannot dump fuel directly in the vicinity of the aerodrome. So we burn the fuel. Okay. So you need, in a sector flying, all you need is two radials, any lower flight level out of these three, and duration. You need these three things. Duration could be 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Ideally, we will stick with 20 minutes in our calls. Your search and rescue could take a little longer time in search and rescue. If your designated radials are not enough, you can expand the radials. So what is the meaning of this sector? If I say, give me two radials between, let's say, give me sector between radial 315 and radial 270, then this is my sector. This complete part is my sector. So I'll be flying in circles like this, like this, like this, like this in this sector. Everybody understood? My direction of flight could be one direction, any one direction, in circle, circle, circle. Not necessarily the circuit, the sector will always make the pilot come exactly in the center of the aerodrome also. Sometimes the sector could be outwardly located like this also. Like this also, like this, outwardly. But the radials would match. 315 and 270, like this. This much part can also be given as a sector to the pilot, like this, if need be. Otherwise, the whole diagram that looks like a slice of pizza, that's a sector for which we need any two radials. A lower flight level, it could be flight level 50, 60, or 70, and then duration could be 20 minutes. So how do you request sector? You can just simply say request sector and whatever the reason is. Okay. So like I'll give you an example. We'll take a fresh flight plan, any random ATC we'll take right now for this call. I would say you make a call that After departure, you would like to do ILS calibration. Take action. Simple call. Okay. Delhi Tower, Air India 919er, departed Delhi 1700, passing 2500 feet for flight level 70. Request sector for instrument calibration, radial 315 and radial 275, flight level 70, duration 20 minutes. Request sector flank. Air India 919er, Delhi Tower, sector flying approved. Report completion. Look at the readback. Sector flying approved. Wilco, Air India 919er. Go to next question. Look at it. Look at what are the requirements of a sector. Look at all the purposes. Look at the call. Study it quickly. See if you have any questions. We have another question. In exam, can we say stand by and take a moment? It all depends. You can do that. You can use any RT protocol and take actions. It will only get you good marks. But it all depends, Likhit. Where do you want to use standby? If you could give me a practical example right now, I could help you with that. We have another question. Does holding also come under sector flying? No, holding is different, students. It could be a similar to sector flying at times, but it is different. If you all want, you can put holding into your parking lots. If time permits, we'll also do holding. If time permits. It's not a part of your training, but we can always do anything extra that helps us. Likhit, care to explain where do you propose to use standby? So I could exactly tell you where.
So for example, we are doing a question and take a moment. Can I say standby and again continue?
No. In the exam, you cannot do it. In real life, of course, you can do it. In the exam, you cannot do it. In case in real time, you are taking some time and the examiner is worried, thinking, what is happening? Are you not focused? Then you can just say standby idly, casually if you want, instead of saying, sir, wait. So instead of saying anything in non-English and instead of not responding to ATC, if you have to respond, then you can say standby, but don't do that. In case that is happening, then you talk to ATC and RT only. But no, you cannot say standby. You just be quiet and just continue. Simple. Don't we need to mention the distance in the call? Not necessary. How much DME you are away? Not necessary. Generally, these sectors and the predefined holding patterns are pre-located. Okay, so you fly as per the pre-located patterns only. You cannot just figure out a sector of your own. But here this level of understanding is good enough for us. Sometimes you can request, if a designated holding pattern is not given to you all, then you can request a sector like this. Then if you want, they can mention stay away minimum 5 DME or more, or 5 DME or less, then you maintain that much of DME distance, if that is the case. Good questions. Anyone else? Pooja, you had a question, please go ahead. You were to ask something.
Negative, sir.
But you were raising your hand. Nothing?
Yes, I have. What is the RVSM critical area? Yes, sir, I want.
RVSM critical area. Okay, drop me a
Yeah.
text on that. Drop that term on text WhatsApp right away. RVSM critical area would be an RVSM area only where RVSM rules are followed. Basically, minimum separation of 1,000 and 2,000 feet. So that would be an RVSM critical area, of course. But then just let me see if I can find anything extra on that and get back to you. Please share it with me, okay? And also share any reference if you have got it from any question paper or something. Share that reference also.
Okay.
Textbook or anything, both things. Good, good. PA stands for passenger announcement. One of your first calls that makes you get attracted to aviation when you're a passenger. It's how the pilots communicate with the passengers. This is that called PA, passenger announcement. Make a PA about delay. Simple. Anybody wants to try this call before I give this call? Anyone wants to try this call before I give this call? We have another question. Can you explain the fourth purpose? What is the fourth purpose? ILS VOR calibration. Students, calibration of instruments is a technical thing wherein engineers would be involved. You as a pilot will not be calibrating it, but you as a pilot will be flying the aircraft. So you will be carrying a couple of engineers on board to help you with the calibration. Generally, calibration is checking if our instrument is showing us our accurate readings or not. So how do we calculate? We calculate with respect to certain test facilities available on the aerodrome. Okay. So those test facilities are based on the aerodrome while the aircraft has the onboard instrument with them. Together, the operation is made after any major maintenance done on those instruments. So if ILS was not malfunctioning earlier, and then ILS had some errors, and then if ILS has been worked upon, after that the pilots would have to just check once before, after takeoff they can check before they will resume with their normal navigation. So that is calibration, just checking if it's working or not. You don't need to get into how the calibration works because it will take a lot of time to even get started. It's a technical thing. There are master instruments. We check the reading of master instruments, which are specially designed and which are 10 times more accurate than the instruments used in the aircraft. Then we check their readings and we compare their readings with our actual system readings. And then we see if we're getting the readings within the allowed tolerances, plus minus 1 degree or plus minus 0.5 degree or plus minus 0.05 degree, whatever is the allowed levels of acceptance that will allow the aircraft to safely fly. If your instruments don't meet those levels, then your aircraft should not fly. Anyway, ILS is not important for departure, so you were able to depart this aircraft. You'll quickly calibrate. If calibration is successful, then you will simply continue the aircraft and fly and take it to your destination. In the destination, your ILS will be used because you have already calibrated and it was successful. Using the ILS, you can land. Similar function is of the VOR also, students. So there will always be a master test instrument which will be used to check if that instrument and our instrument is matching with the reading or not. That is how calibration is actually done. But there are more test facilities involved. All right, but Achal, does that give you some brief idea about it? Calibration, VOR, ILS. Everyone understood? See, these are good questions, students. I'm liking it. Keep asking, keep discussing. Everyone understood? Ready to move ahead? Anyone wants to try a passenger announcement call? Anyone? Bhavin, are you saying yes?
Negative, sir.
Pooja, do it. Can you do it, Pooja?
Negative, sir.
Neha, how about you?
Negative, sir.
Okay. Why negative? Anwar, do you want to try? Anwar, are you at work or are you having an off? Just drop me a text. If you're at work, then I'll not ask you to acknowledge. And if you're having an off, then definitely I'll make you speak. Vignesh, first Vignesh 1. Can you give me passenger announcement? Victor Tango, Lima Romeo Charlie.
Negative, sir.
Negative. Okay. Sahil, how about you? Where are you, Sahil? Not making any noise?
Following, sir.
No, that's not the question, Sahil. Can you give the call or not? That is the question. Passenger announcement.
Negative.
Negative. Okay. Someone just left the session. Someone is so scared, is it? I think technical error. Ayush, are you ready to give the call?
I can try.
Oh, I like that. Good. So when Ayush is giving the call, let's everybody write the call. And Ayush, sorry, but whenever a student is giving the call, all of us will try to assess the call. I'll show you how to assess the call also. And remember to see how I'm assessing the call. Assessment is like checking. Simple, okay? So the steps that you're using to check are the steps which we have to keep in mind when we are taking our call. So Pooja, your concern to not make mistakes will be resolved like this. Students, if you're thinking how to polish your calls, then this is how we polish our calls. So Ayush, go ahead. Once again, Ayush, before you go ahead, we have a question. Can we give any reason like flight delayed due to bad weather? Yeah, we can give any reason. Definitely. If it's not there in the test paper or the flight plan, any relevance is not there, then you can give any reason. If it's bad weather, then say bad weather. If any mention is given in your flight plan or initial part of the question paper, then use that. Otherwise, you can say anything. Yeah, Ayush, go ahead.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on board Vistara 719er. This is your captain speaking.
Ayush, you don't wait for me to finish completing writing on the whiteboard, okay? Just go with your natural speed.
Okay. Due to some technical reason, there will be delay in departure. We request you to relax and enjoy inconvenient are redirected. Thank you for choosing Vistara Airline.
Very good, Ayush. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, students, how to assess the call? 4 W's. Correction. Yeah, 4 W's. Whom are you calling? Who you are? Where are you? Why are you calling? Language. Use of abbreviations. Use of ABCDs. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. Use of numbers. No dead air. No other things that are not taught. Everything. So we'll judge the whole call on all these parameters. So calling ladies and gentlemen. Whom are you calling? Who are you? Captain speaking. Why are you calling? Due to some technical reason, there is a delay in departure. Request you to relax and enjoy. Inconvenience is regretted. Thank you for choosing Vistara Airline. Makes sense? Simple call. Makes sense. This is how these calls are. This is how these calls are. Very good. If we have to judge this call on 20, then good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on board Vistara 719er. This is your captain speaking. Due to some technical reason, there is a delay in departure. We could mention of about 20 minutes. Now, generally, students, if there is a delay in departure, in your flight plan, a time of departure is already mentioned. Then in your question paper, something called as ATD will be mentioned. ATD. Some people who are already going through RK Bali, sharing notes and papers, you must have noticed in certain question papers, you get ATD. So what is this ATD? ATD is actual time of departure. So actual time of departure and scheduled time of departure, if they're not matching, it means there is a delay. So sometimes the actual time of departure will be given to you after question number 1. And that question number 1 could be something before departure, like this call. So looking at your actual time of departure and the scheduled time of departure, you can figure out how much would be the delay be. As per that, you could say 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 10 minutes or so. All right. If that time is not mentioned, if actual time of departure is not mentioned, then you can just give hypothetical 10 minutes, 20 minutes information. Are you following, students? Got it, students? Any doubts? Good call. So how much to give him? Apart from duration, everything is said. Only part is your voice was breaking when you were saying inconvenience is regretted. So make sure you practice these words wherever you're fumbling, students. Okay. But otherwise, it is good. I think it deserves a good 16 out of 20 on this call. It's a simple call that gives you 80%. I'm being strict. Okay. I'm being strict and giving this, not being lenient and giving this. It's a simple call. Well done. See, students, anyone could have made the call. You just needed that confidence because this is a basic call. So this is the ability that I want to see in you all, whether you can make any call on your own or not. Don't worry about right and wrong. You know the language, you know the procedures. You don't know, students, but all these procedures that we have taught you are actually rules of the air. If I would have taught you everything as per rules of the air, you would have gotten bored by the lecture 15 only. But all these things that you're learning, protocols, standard deviations, urgency distress codes, etc., RVSM, are nothing but rules of the air. If you study rules of the air, everything is mentioned. All that you have learned is theoretically mentioned as rules of the air. I'll be giving you, for part 2, I'll be giving you material to read rules of the air. So that is in the coming. Okay. So I'll give you all a call. It's a similar call only. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Either of the three you greet, okay? You can say good morning if it's a morning flight. Good morning, right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on board Vistara 719er. I am your captain speaking. Generally, captains have to make 3 mandatory calls to the passengers always, okay? During departure, then en route, and during the beginning of descent. At least 3 times, sometimes, all in 3 different phases they have to inform. Other than that, they have to inform the passengers about any delays. So those are the times you'll be talking to the passengers, okay? So this is a delay call, so you must have already made the greeting call. But still, for you, it's a first call. So we say, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on board Vistara 719er. I'm your captain speaking. Generally, your hosts, like you introduce your pilot, PIC, co-pilot also, and you introduce your cabin crew also. That's your job. It's a mandatory requirement to introduce. Okay. But this is a call about delay, not about introductions. And in exam hypothetical calls, you don't have to take names. So Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on board Vistara 719er. I'm your captain speaking. We have been informed by ATC about delay in departure due bad weather. I'm writing in bracket or technical issues. You can only give two reasons ideally. Bad weather is a legit reason everybody will wait. It will hamper security. That's why. Or technical issues. Technical issues, we will wait because it will hamper security. A pilot is late, cabin crew is late, PIC is late, your tow truck operator is late. Everything will be coming under technical issues only. In the exam, if they say a question like your co-pilot has arrived late, your co-pilot has not yet arrived, your co-pilot is late, announce passenger, give a PA for delay. In that call, also say technical reasons. Don't say we have been informed by dispatch that our co-pilot is late and we expect you to take a delay. Don't say that. Simply say we have been informed by ATC to take a delay for so and so minutes due bad weather, or there'll be a delay due technical reasons for 20 minutes. Simple. Okay. Anything that you choose. So we have been informed by ATC about delay in departure due bad weather for 20 minutes. Until then, we insist you enjoy our hospitality. So this is in my word now, trying to differentiate it a little from call that Ayush has made. You can stick with the call that Ayush has made. Simple words. It works. Until then, we insist you enjoy our hospitality. Will keep you updated. Thank you for choosing Vistara Airline or Airways. You can customize the call. You can stick with this call. You can stick with Ayush's call. All calls will work. It is a generic call, but you remember the essence of the call. Okay. Any questions on this? No questions? All right. Now, students, remind me, I'm talking about the Echo 22 students only, not Sahil and Priyam and Ayush, because you might already know this, Sahil, Priyam and Ayush, but revise. Others, do you know what is CTZ and what is CTA? Have we done it? If yes, can you recollect it, the definitions? Achal is saying yes. I know we had done it yesterday also. Vignesh, have you come across this chapter yet? Good, good. So we have done it. So control zone from ground to upper specified limit.
The correction, that's CTR.
Perform, so that's CTR.
What is CTR? Sorry.
Control zone. That's CTR.
Okay. What is CTA then? Control area, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So CTA is from a lower, cross check if I'm writing it right or wrong. I'm giving you a job, students. You have to do it. Priyam, thanks. Everybody cross check. I want you all to correct if I'm making any error here, because I want to see if you can recollect it, whether you remember it, and I want you to revise also, all at the same time. Control zone, control area, Sajal is saying. Okay. From a lower specified limit to an upper specified limit. So CTR is from ground to upper specified limit, and CTA is from lower specified limit. That could be any level to a upper specified limit. Is that correct? Students, please let me know. Let me know in the chat box. If I'm unable to see your emoticons because I'm writing on the screen, so they're temporary, right? Yeah. When I'm asking a face-to-face yes or no question, then these work. Otherwise, I need verbal or written acknowledgement. Good, good, good. Correct? We are correct on this. So what is a CTR now? A CTR, as we know, wherever there is a VOR, okay, then around the VOR would be a CTR. Is that correct, everyone? This is my CTR. The range would be given to us outside. Inside, it will be written as CTR somewhere, and then it will be written as ground and up to 50 like this. Everybody remembers this from a chart? Looks like our chart thing, correct? Good. Now, let's say that you're going to fly like this. Okay? You're going to fly like this. You're departing from here and your destination is this. All right? Now, your departure and destination will also have a CTR. Okay? That CTR will also have some range, some limitation, name, CTR mention, 30 nautical miles, ground to, let's say, 50, CTR mention, like this. Now, whenever a pilot is flying, okay, whenever a pilot is flying, and a pilot is going to cross a CTR of any airport, okay. Now, remember the CTR has a vertical range. Even if you are not at the vertical range, you're beyond that range, still, if you're going to cross this particular control zone, CTR, then you need to cross this en route CTR. You need permission from relevant ATC. Such a clearance is called as transit clearance. Okay. Such a call is called as transit clearance. Request transit clearance is what you would be saying. If your aircraft is somewhere here, then the aircraft would request for transit clearance and will give estimates. Enter CTR and exit CTR time estimates. And then you would say request transit clearance. All right. Now you would be wondering, sir, whom to call depending upon your flight level. If I say your flight level is 270, then you check the map and you would be under some control. You talk to that control only. Simple as that. So even if I say that this airport is something else, but then this airport falls under Nagpur control, then you'll be talking to Nagpur control only. All right. So how would the call be? Let's assume any such position. Let's take a realistic example for the same. Yeah. Udaipur, Jaipur, Delhi. Okay. So we'll assume this is Udaipur, this is Jaipur, and this is Delhi. Okay. And we'll just write on the route number from Udaipur to Jaipur. I would say you'll take Whiskey 13 South. Students, if you're wondering, sir, South, why is this? Why are we taking South when we are going northbound? if the slots are available, then you can be flying north on a southbound route also. So don't think it's not possible. And from Jaipur also to Delhi, Whiskey 13 south. Now the diagram is a little, Delhi is going a little right on the diagram as per the chart, little extra right. Just adjust your understanding accordingly. Okay, this is just for reference. So whose control are you under right now when you are about this much of DME from Jaipur, and change your CTR radius of Jaipur from 25 to 30 over here, make it realistic. Udaipur also 25 to 30, make it 30. And Delhi also CTR has, I think, CTR. So bottom CTR is explained like this. CTR and 50. Actually, this is how the symbol is for CTR. So CTR, we know, starts from the ground surface only. So that's the definition. Instead of ground, they would mention CTR. And range for Delhi is also 30 nautical miles. 30 nautical miles is already written. So the graph would be, the fraction would be like this only, CTR. Okay. Here also we'll correct it. See, Udaipur CTR is up to flight level 150. Udaipur, up to 150, control area. Jaipur is only up to 50 and Delhi is only up to 50. Now, this is something new for you, but it is easy to understand. Okay. Question would be, you are 60 DME inbound Jaipur. Take action as per necessary procedures. Now, a question like this is very confusing to any student, because what is the necessary procedure? The student will get stuck and the student will get worried. Okay, I don't know the procedure. What is the procedure? Ideally, what we have learned so far, if nothing else is mentioned in your call, if they say you are here and take action, we give a position report, right? If nothing is mentioned, if you are here, you give a position report. Here, when they say take action as per necessary procedures, it could be position report, not necessarily just that. Now you put another idea or another possibility to this understanding. The other procedure could be, if you are about to enter or clear a CTR, then you will be requesting for a transit clearance. Simple. So that would be the other thing that you could do. So be on the lookout and see if you're going to fly via or en route a transit, a CTR which is in transit with you. We call it transit because transit is in between. The word transit means in between. En route. Okay. In between is the word transit. You will use the word transit a lot as you fly. It's a common word in aviation. In transit means, okay, it's here for temporary time only. In transit. Simple. So what is the action? I'll show you how we take the action. Everybody focus on the call, and I think it will be self-explanatory to understand. Remember, try to match the writing speed. So don't look at the call on the screen. Just listen to the call. And if you're looking, then just look how I'm reading and writing or speaking and writing, and try to match that, or see, just take any learning possible from that. So we'll take the call. Our flight level is 270. As mentioned here, that we'll get from the flight plan, unless it's not changed. If it's changed in your previous calls, then you would know the new flight level also. So let's take the call. Delhi control, Vistara 719er. We're just taking the same call sign, hypothetical, okay? 60 DME, inbound Jaipur, flight level 270, radial 199er, over Gudum, IFR Udaipur to Delhi, Airbus 320, estimating Jaipur 1715, Ikaba 1735, ETA Delhi 1815, estimating enter Jaipur control zone 1710, exit Jaipur control zone 1720, request transit clearance. Look at the call and discuss doubts. ATC reply, cleared for transit, report exiting Delhi control. Read back. Cleared for transit, Wilco Vistara 719er. Go to next question. If go to next question is not told to you, okay? Let's say go to next question is not told to you. If they say, Roger, Delhi control, then you're waiting for a few seconds, assuming, thinking that the examiner is going to say, go to next question. But the examiner doesn't say, go to the next question. What do? You assume you're clear of the control zone and you'll say, Delhi control, Vistara 719er, clear of Jaipur control zone 10 DME correction 35 DME outbound Jaipur radial 033 Whiskey 13 South flight level 270 estimating Ikaba 1720 ETA Delhi 1810. Just change the time to estimating Ikaba 1840. Just check what was the earlier estimate you had given. In the exam, if you've made a minor mistake like this, you don't need to correct it. It's fine. But when I'm giving you a call example, it's not a mock, so I'd say I just checked. After giving the time, I checked. Exiting CTR was 1720, so I think Ikaba would take another 20 minutes or like some time. So I just changed it to 1740. So because I was aware, I was able to note that, okay, I think 720 is too quick reaching Ikaba. So I thought, should I correct it or not? Like, okay, let it be. It's anyway hypothetical. Otherwise, in the exam. But then I'm correcting it now because I'm giving you a call script. So this is how you have to continue in case ATC doesn't ask you to go to the next question. See, are you understanding, students? With this example, I think it should induce a little bit of more of confidence in your level of making calls. See if you have any questions or points. Now they will say, go to next question. Look, what is transit clearance? Ideally, some people will say that you don't have to give this position estimate detail. You just give estimating enter CTR and exit CTR. Okay, but I would say that stick to your basics. Give a position report based call as well as then in the end, ask your transit clearance. Anybody has any doubt with respect to how I frame the transit clearance in the end? The transit clearance is the last part. Everything else is the basic skeleton of the call. Simple as that. I've just given a time estimate of entering and exiting. A total of 60 nautical miles I'll be crossing. 30 from the start of entering the CTR till Jaipur And then from Jaipur to exiting CTR, 30, because the range is 30 nautical miles. So I'm traveling the radius plus radius, that is the diameter. 60 nautical miles I'll be taking to cross that area. That is called transit clearance. Basically, you need permission to transit that area. So that is transit clearance. When should you do transit clearance? You can request for transit clearance anytime, whenever you're crossing, in case you didn't have a clearance earlier. So how do you know in the examination? The examination, you have to make a calculated guess. If the question reads like this, where you're going to cross a control area soon, a control zone soon, then you request for a transit clearance, or you give a position report. I would say you give a transit clearance as well as a position report together, but don't make it a position report call only. Just make sure it has all the basic backbones of your call, like basic bones of a spinal cord, I would say. All the structures, 4Ws, abbreviations, numbers, phraseology, and so on. How to ask for transit clearance? This is the key part. Estimating, enter Jaipur control zone 1710, exit Jaipur control 1720. Request transit clearance. Simple. So this is that as per necessary procedures. What is the necessary requirement that you have to request for a transit clearance? Now this is, where did you get this from? And again, rules of the air. Somewhere or the other it will be mentioned in rules of the air. Any questions, anyone? You'll be able to write down transit clearance. You'll be able to write down passenger announcement. You'll be able to do sector flying. Anything else? Any doubts? Take a couple of minutes to go through these points quickly. Soak it in. Study. Take a couple of minutes and study. See if you have any doubts. See if you want me to say anything else. Think about it, everyone. Think about these calls. No questions? Take your time, study nicely. Think about these things. Think about the days when you will be using these calls in your live, what do we say? Live, real life, basically. When you'll be working as a pilot. You'll be doing all this on a regular basis, students. Some of y'all initially might one day just get a thought, oh, one day I was just struggling to make these calls. Today, I mean, it's just the way we talk. So you have to understand all this that you're learning is just the way we talk in aviation. For you, it's new. You don't have the experience. You think it's a new subject to learn. Definitely, it's a new subject for every new student pilot. But in the end, you'll realize that what you had learned is basically the way you actually talk to ATC. And in real life, you know how fast they speak with each other because they don't have to write. You all must have read recordings. So this is a good chance to really get into the feel of becoming a pilot, because the subject is such that it actually teaches you everything that you will be doing as a pilot. Likit is asking, height limit Jaipur 50 to 145. Is it a limit for approach? So the second outline that you see, partially curved line and then straight line, that is control area. Okay. And that control area is with the second ATC, which is approach. So ideally, we can say that from flight level 50 up to flight level 150, within a radius of 50 nautical miles, we will have Jaipur approach. So Likit, you are right. That's the deduction we need you to make looking at these charts. Very well done. Now we have another question. Sir, can you explain what standby static port is? I think this is the RBSM critical area someone was asking about. Standby static port. Static port, students, are sensors to sense static pressure around the aircraft. That static pressure actually determines or actually gives us a reading of our altitude. Okay. Now, if your static port or a static vent, as we call it, if it is not working properly, why will it not work? Probably due to icing, probably due to dust particles blocking the ports. What are those ports like? You must have all seen filters, drainage filters in your sinks and wash basins and all. Small, what do we call it? It's like I'll just draw and show it to you. It's like this. From the front, it looks like this, one opening. And this is the static vent. Okay. When you have a metal plate like this with multiple vents, then these are vents, and the whole thing is known as static port. Just like an airport that houses a lot of aircrafts, a static port will have a couple of vents or more. Okay, or a vent. Even if one vent or even if more vents, we call it a static port only. Okay, it is generally attached. It is generally attached on this side of the aircraft and this side of the aircraft, both sides, to balance the reading of static pressure in case the aircraft is rolling like this or like this. A static pressure is clean. We need a clean reading for static pressure. Wait, this is not a RVSM critical area, Pooja. Achal, this is not a RVSM critical area. I'll tell you why this point is related to RVSM. What is RVSM critical area? Any RVSM airspace is an RVSM critical area. Understand that. I told you all that is the first thing that you should understand. Okay, any RVSM approved area is an RVSM critical area. In that, you need accurate altimeter readings. If you don't get accurate altimeter readings, then separating two aircrafts with 1000 feet vertical separation can jeopardize the safety, even if our altimeter is showing us 200 or 300 feet difference in the actual reading. Okay. Now, the problem is static ports will control the accuracy of your altimeter reading. And talking about standby static port, a third static port. So there are two primary static ports are there. And in the event one fails or one gets blocked, there is a third static port located somewhere behind, which is not aerodynamically a perfect position. But still, if these aerodynamically perfectly located static ports are malfunctioning due to some reason, then data can be taken from that. Okay. If your static ports are not working properly, and if you are in an RVSM area, it is just another call like an enable RVSM due equipment. And you will request for a non-RVSM flight level. If in contact with ATC, if not in contact with ATC, RVSM deviation on your own. Pan all aircraft. Deviation would be 15 nautical miles right and left, and altitude difference would be 500 feet. Clear, everyone? Pooja, Achal, very good question, Achal. Very good, proactive. You thought of something, you shared it with the class, that is teaching you something extra. Quickly go through your RVSM notes, or in today, write an important point in block letters. Static ports being blocked in RVSM will make your aircraft enable RVSM. Follow enable RVSM protocols. Simple. Write it down quickly about RVSM and also update it in your RVSM notes. Later on, you can add it, write it down here right now in today's notes only. And then update it in your RVSM notes. Find it and update it, okay? In general, I'm writing if static port plot, be it primary, secondary, standby, whatever, enable RVSM, go out of the RVSM airspace. Simple. If static ports blocked, Aircraft enable RVSM. Follow enable RVSM procedures as applicable. As applicable mean with ATC, without ATC. Note, static ports have static vents. They sense static pressure. Static pressure is the actual pressure of the atmosphere outside the aircraft. Static pressure is fed to the altimeter casing, and altitude is displayed on the altimeter instrument display dial. Dial or screen. Screen for electronic instrument displays. And display dial for analog instruments. Holding exact altitude is prime requirement to stay safe in RVSM airspace. Also can be referred as RVSM critical area. Students, one technique I want to teach you all. The technique is such. I hope you have written all these points down, students, and have understood these points. The technique is such that you don't try to focus on what you don't understand in a question. Okay, listen to this carefully. Let's say that Pooja saw this question and she saw RVSM critical area. And I saw the question and I saw RVSM critical area. Now this troubles a student because we have never seen RVSM critical area. Okay, I understand. But you do know RVSM. You know everything about RVSM there is to teach. Then what could be RVSM critical area? RVSM airspace only. What else? What is that RVSM airspace? 290 to 410. We know that. So that's how you will go ahead and take the call. You have to quickly deduct the question into what you know. That's your requirement. That's it. Instead of going on to what you don't know, look for keywords. Keywords that you know. That is what you will be banking upon in the examination. And based upon those one hint that you can find out, the keywords that you know, you should take the entire call. So good students have this problem of criticizing themselves. If you find yourself doing that, then don't do it. Aviation doesn't work on criticism. All right. Even if you make a mistake as a pilot, you will be subjected to an inquiry by DGCA and the Aircraft Investigations Bureau. All right. Still, you'll not be criticized. It's just a mandatory inquiry. On basis of the inquiry, any other person would say you're extricated from the company. Because you have done one mistake, you'll do the mistake again. Aviation doesn't work like that. They'll give you some time to get off work to set up your mind. So they will not give you a flying job, or they might give you a paid salary, or they might give you an office desk job, something or the other. They'll adjust you somewhere. They'll not simply kick you out. If airlines are not doing it even after you make a mistake, how can you do that to yourself when you are learning? When airlines are not doing it after you have learned everything and have proved that you're job ready and you have got a job also, if airlines are not criticizing you, then when you're not doing your job rightly, when your training is over, then why do you think you would criticize yourself during training if you're making certain mistakes? You have to understand how aviation works. It's all about positivities. And it's a small field. So this strategy helps you not just be positive and all, it helps you come up with answers to questions which are difficult to understand. How would you answer such questions? Try to figure out one linking point that you know with respect to those points in the question. Even if the whole question is an alien question to you, look for something or the other that can click in your mind that you have studied. The moment you get the click, so look at that, look at the positives. Here the click was simple, RVSM. Big click. You should not worry about anything else because RVSM critical area, I know what it is. I know what it will be. That should be your confidence. If you have not studied the exact thing, and then you take that call. That's how you have to perform in the examination. Let the examiner give you marks instead of you giving yourself marks before taking the call. What will the examiner judge you on? Will the examiner judge you on rules of the air? No. The examiner will judge you on the clarity of your communication, the usage of phrases, the structure of calls, use of call signs, ending call signs, using numbers properly, not keeping dead airs longer than the time that I have given you all, not acknowledging in time. Those are the points that you will be judged upon. Is it making sense or not? Learn what I'm teaching. Then you'll find yourself worrying less and practicing more. Out of 15 students, only one student is ready to give a call. Why? If you would believe in this strategy, then everybody would be fighting to give a call. Because it's not about right and wrong. It's about trying to see by when I will end up getting perfect calls for any question that I've never learned. That should be our target. That will only happen when you keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. Why are you afraid of trying? Achal did a call, Ayush did a call. Vishnu was doing a call. What about others? Pooja sends me written calls. Bhavin sends me written calls. Couple of students are sending me voice recordings also. Good. How about others? Are we learning? Are we practicing? Are we reaching out to sir to say, sir, mera practice le lo. Sir, please take my practice. Sir is asking you to practice. You're not practicing. And these are the differences in your ability to clear in the first attempt and not clearing in the first attempt. Eventually, you will learn these things and eventually you will clear. You'll only clear after learning these things. Either you learn now when I'm directly telling you, or you learn with experience after not clearing a couple of sessions and then clearing one session. Other students are also taking initiative. Of course, everyone gives me calls. Neha gives me calls. Priyam has already given a lot of calls. Sajal gives. Hardik Rishi gives. Vishnu is also active. Bhavin is active. Anwar is doing his best. Everyone is doing their best. But you're not doing exactly what I'm asking you all to do, which is about time that you started doing if you want to guarantee that you give your best and increase your chances of clearing in your first attempt. Are you following, students? Is it making sense what I'm saying? Makes sense, right? So I'm not upset. As long as you're learning, keep asking, keep asking. But what I'm sharing, try to learn also, try to learn also. Focus on keywords, focus on what you know, and be confident and take a call. Your confidence should be reflected in the call structure, call quality. more than, oh, what should be the exact procedure. Use anything that you have, anything from all the things that you have learned, but make sure the call structures and protocols are right. So that being said, I want everyone to understand what I'm teaching you now. I want everyone to thoroughly understand what I'm teaching you now. Okay? Only after this will I be doing a mock, and will I be giving you the reading material for part 1, that is solved papers that we have from here and there. Okay? When I'm sending you all the material to read, the solved papers, I think evening batch students, you already have it. I'll be giving a set of instructions how to go about reading these documents. Read the instructions and use that strategy I'm mentioning in the email to go through those. If you skip that and if you go through those, then you'll have a lot of questions and you'll be confused. So make sure you read the instructions, understand, and then go through it. If you have any problem in reading the instructions, then you talk to me personally. Sir, can you just explain me on call? What do you really mean? How do I go about reading this? And then only go about reading that. Otherwise, you'll still be confused and not be confident. If you follow instructions, then whatever you see in that will only increase your confidence. If you don't follow instructions, then it might increase, not increase, but it will surely increase your confusion. Because that is not solved by us, that is solved by someone else. Simple as that. Are you following? Generally, my strategy to help students is just to solve 3 to 4 questions and then go. I never tell them to go through question bank and all. But some students like to see what are the variety of questions they are getting. And I also like that it will only increase your exposure. So you go ahead with that also. Okay. But whatever you want from me, I'll give it to you. You can always request. So essentials for part 1, do's and don'ts. Remember these points, and in the mock that I'll be giving you, okay, in the exam that I'll be simulating, which we'll be doing now on a Saturday will be all about that session where I'll be doing a part 1 mock. Okay, initially starting of the session only we'll do that so that we get a lot of time to talk and discuss questions, because you'll have a lot of questions. But these do's and don'ts today. So before doing the mock, I would have given you the do's and don'ts. I'm giving it to you 2 days in advance. Then for 2 days, I'm going to share that material with you. Towards the evening, I'll email it to you all. You can read it. And then Saturday, we'll do the mock and I'll take questions and I'll show you how you will be performing in part 1, following do's and don'ts. Then simultaneously, you'll go ahead with your constant revision of part 1 and I'll start your part 2 after that. Got it? So Monday, RT lecture, I think we'll be starting with part 2 as per the schedule that you have got. All right. So Monday, RT, we are starting the day with RT. Morning, we are giving an off because of Independence Day celebrations. We wanted to give an off on the entire Monday also, but then it's getting too much of break, 5 days in between. I thought of once giving holiday between 11th to 15th, but I thought that it doesn't make sense, 5 days gap, especially when we want to finish things. So try to attend Saturday and Monday, everyone. In case you are busy, cover up the moment you come back. Simple as that. And keep me in the loop. Anyone going on any instantaneous plans also. RT students especially, keep me in the loop. Only about RT it's main, because we have a timeline with RT. So what are the do's and don'ts? Do's, 4 W's. First, okay, you have to remember, number 1, 4 W's. Number 2, out of the 4 W's, first 2 W's in sequence. You have to use first 2 W's in sequence. Whom are you calling? Who you are. For every fresh call or every first call that you make, these are very important. 4 W's and first 2 W's, both structure-wise. Okay. Third thing, Use as many standard words and phrases as possible. As many standard words and phrases. So make sure you keep talking about the standard words and phrases. Simple. Keep using those. Affirm, negative, Roger. If you all don't have all the words and phrases yet, if you have troubles in remembering, then I would give you a text to read again of all those standard words and phrases. Many textbooks have it. I could simply gather all the material, make it one and give it to you to read, to practice again and again. Okay. Third, fourth thing, very important. Read numbers properly as per RT. 0 to 9er. No double digits like 10, 20, 11, nothing. 9 as 9er. Very important. Some students are good with calls, but they forget 9er. Like Sajal made a very good call, but he said 10 instead of 10. Now that I could say, Sajal, is of concern for us. Okay. Everything else is perfect, but if you're making these silly mistakes, then it will not be allowed. But I would say it's not a major concern because it's a small error which can be rectified in a couple of calls that you practice. So it's an initial error that every second student makes, reading incorrect numbers. So make sure you all don't do that. No double digits like 10, 20, 11 or whatsoever, and 9 as 9er. Those are only the two rules, right? Plus 100, 200, 300 that you are right with, the whole numbers and all. These things that you have learned in the first 5-7 lectures are the main things that you have to do in your part 1. If you compromise on these, then you will lose more marks. Do you understand what I'm saying, or are you just going to think what you feel and not listen to what I'm saying, students? If your thought process about something is different, it's calcified. Maybe because you are having that thought process long before you met me also. So chances are I cannot change your thought process easily. But I'm training. In the form of training, you could learn it, right? Only Neha is saying yes. Nobody else has responded. I gave you all a pause also. So if you think that the same calcified is like some thought form that has become concrete. If the same thought form or same thought train of thought is affecting you again and again, try to replace it with the new thought process that I'm asking you to take. By reminding yourself with these new points again and again, again and again. Repeat, revise, repeat, revise, repeat, revise. Automatically your thought process would change. Students who are thinking, I don't know, I have learned everything, I've given so much of time, still I'm making some mistakes or some problems. Go through these things again and again and then take your calls. You'll realize your calls are much better than before. Okay, remember these points. Then, number 5, check call signs before transmitting. It means check if you're using the correct call sign before transmitting. ATCs also, here also, both. Yours and other stations. Other station could be any other aircraft also or the ATC also. Check call signs before transmitting. 6. Understand flight plan and track the chart thoroughly before starting with calls. Understand the flight plan, all points in the flight plan, including other information, and track the chart thoroughly before starting with calls. Okay, first track it and then only start with calls, okay? Before starting with calls. 7. Use a not too fast and not too slow rate of speech. Keep your rate of speech, ROS, on the slower side. Not too fast, not too slow. Keep it to the slower side. Simple. Medium on the slower side could be. Okay. Number 8. You have to speak and write simultaneously. If the ATC finds out you have written a call first and then just you are reading it out, then if they find out, they will not give you marks. So you have to speak and write simultaneously. Let writing lead speaking. This is my personal strategy. You can try it and tell me if that works for you or not. If you have seen, I first start writing and then speaking. If you have noticed that, you also try that. Instead of speaking and then writing. This will prevent your dead airs. Bhavin, you were wondering about dead airs. Speaking and then writing can prevent your dead air. Because by the time you're done writing, your speaking will always end afterwards. So, no dead air possibility is left. The moment you are done speaking, your writing was already over 2 seconds ago. So, no dead air. Pilot can, the other station can simply respond to you.
So it's mostly the large words that take a lot of time, like while writing.
So keep whatever you speak, it should be written first. Simple. There's a rhythm. There's a rhythm that you have to maintain. Like how you have to speak and write simultaneously. Let writing lead speaking. See, I did it again. Try to do it. It doesn't mean I didn't have any dead air. I had a gap of, let's say, 1 or 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds. That's okay. That sounds good. I was stretching my words as I was writing simultaneously. See? So because it takes so much of time for us to write that, so we speak it slowly. Otherwise, simultaneously you can say, but you cannot write simultaneously that fast. So try to use these strategies. We'll keep discussing more strategies. Number 9. On replies to ATC, acknowledge within 5 seconds and with call sign, your call sign. Acknowledge within 5 seconds and end with call sign on replies. Very important. Okay. Dead air. If you don't acknowledge or reply within 5 seconds, in bracket you'll write 10 seconds ideally, but we'll stick with 5 only for practice. It's considered as unacceptable dead air. Make sure it's less than 5 seconds everywhere. Okay. Last but not the least, it helps to read all questions in sequence before starting calls for question 1. Number 12, for any question, check for any links or hints in previous question and next question. So let's say question number 2 is something. Sometimes, if you don't directly know the answer of question number 2, look at question number 1 solution and question whatever ATC had said, and also look at question number 3 and see if there are any hints. Either question number 3 would be such that you would figure out what question number 2 you have to do, or question number 1 would have been such that you are able to take question number 2. For any question, check for any links or hints in previous question and next question. Simple. It is subjective. It can be applicable at times when you don't know direct answers. Are we all following, students? See, these points directly I am giving you do's and don'ts. If you follow these do's, you will be making 0 mistakes. It is like that. Anywhere I have not mentioned anything about proper procedures. See, the procedures are secondary. This is primary. And all of y'all are only worried about, generally students, they think it's procedures that they're going to ask. No, RT is not about procedures as much as it is about language protocols, language procedures, not execution of aircraft operations procedures. Remember these points. If I feel there are more points that needs to be added, which we have not added, then I'll add it for y'all. 12 points. Before studying, before doing anything, study on these points and analyze all calls on these points only. Any call that you're learning in the notes, all papers, question books, question papers, anything. Don'ts. We'll quickly write down don'ts. Don't skip reading flight plan. Number 1. Don't choose wrong chart. Generally, they will give you the chart number in these exams. Sometimes in tougher exams, they will not give you the chart number and you'll have to find your own chart. You all are good with that. I'm not worried. In case anyone is troubled with chart reading, get in touch with me. Let me know. I can help you extra. Okay. Don't fumble or use fillers like and so on in between. And do not fumble also. If you have some difficulties in speaking, then try your best. Don't worry. Your natural accent and all will be allowed. Otherwise, those stylish fillers you should not use. Some people have that habit of we should not use that in RT. Okay. Don't use wrong chart. Don't fumble or use fillers like If you're fumbling, then use correction. Okay. Yeah. Over here in to-dos, when I say phrases, okay, fine. It's okay. It'll come in phrases only. It's okay. We'll add it in don'ts. Don't forget to use correction when making small mistakes. Okay. Number 5. Don't forget to end your replies with a call sign. Don't forget to acknowledge every future instruction. Future instruction after reaching flight level 150, report reaching. So that is future instruction. Okay, so acknowledge, don't forget to acknowledge every future instruction. Okay, 7, give readback of instant information or clearances given. Don't forget to give, okay? It's don't, right? Don't forget to give readback of instant. When I say instant, whatever you're requesting, it is for you for that time. Don't forget to give readback of instant information or clearances. Any information or clearance given to you, you have to give a readback. Any information or clearance given to you, you have to give a readback. Anything said to you, you have to acknowledge. Those things, if you don't do, your marks would be deducted. So this is on basis of the responses. Remember, your ultimate level of preparation will happen when you perform calls. Okay. When you perform calls, realistically. All right. So I'm thinking I'm getting a few ideas how we can go ahead and do that. But for that, you'll have to have a lot of confidence. I'm thinking that we'll have group sessions, and in group sessions only we'll solve one each, and probably we'll solve 2 papers in a day, and one day Hardik can solve a paper, Sajal can do it, and everybody can learn from it, do's and don'ts. Of course, I'll analyze, I'll show correct and all. The next session, Rishi could do it, Achal could do it. Then the next session, couple of other students could do it. Then the next session, couple of others could do it. That way is one way to practice. Otherwise, we can do it one-on-one. Simple as that. One-on-one would be ultimately towards your examinations. Okay. But right now also we could do it. So I'm thinking of it. I'll tell you what to do it, but you have to participate. Now, when I finally give you a task, and that too in front of everyone, you might feel nervous and you might feel weird. If it's a paper of 100 marks and if you end up scoring 30 or 40, you might feel embarrassed in front of everyone. Now, understand, students, that should not matter to you. Okay. What should matter is how much you are learning in the session. This is not the time to check your performance right now. This is to check whether you have learned completely or not. So as many times as you're judging yourself or you're checking how much you know, you don't know, something or the other, you are learning. So remember, you're always on an upward curve. Believe in yourself. And that is what it takes. And do not judge yourself until I take marks and I give you all marks on the mark. Till then, you can just say that, sir, I feel, I think, but I need to practice. Don't judge yourselves. All right, students? Not until I do your mocks with you all. I'll tell you the areas of improvement, and you'll see if you can do 2-3 calls and note down areas of improvement. Afterwards, your mistakes will disappear. That's how your mistakes will disappear. So if you're thinking your mistakes are not disappearing, then it's only because we are yet to do those calls. Once we do those calls, it means your training is not complete. When did I say? I'm just saying your part 1 theoretical lecture room training is done, but part 1 training also involves practice and mock solutions. So that is still pending. So don't think I have wrapped up part 1, I'll do 1 mock and let you all go. No, that will not guarantee that you are prepared. I know that. So what are you worried about? Let me set the expectation straight. After that, only after mocks will we know whether you're completely ready or not. Simple. Only after mocks. If you haven't done mock, it means your preparation is not done. Be rest assured. Wherever you are, you'll get better from there. Okay, students? All right. So that's it for now. Saturday, we'll be doing the mock session. Please attend. Whoever cannot attend, let me know. And please follow up on that. Okay, anyone has any questions, put it in the parking lots. Previous questions unanswered, highlight them on WhatsApp as fresh messages so I can check, keep them in the loop, and make sure that I have a plan to discuss them as and when. Okay, and RT is interesting. And Neha is asking, sir, are we done with all the don'ts? Don't forget to give readback of instant information or clearance is given, don't focus on what you don't know. Look for any hint you know and take call as per that. So instead of getting 0 marks or wasting time, you will end up getting at least 50 to 60% marks, at least, if not more, on such questions. If confused or puzzled by a question that doesn't make sense to you, don't spend more than 90 seconds on it and ensure 60 to 90, okay, and ensure you give the best optional call you can within 60 to 90 seconds. The best optional call, why I'm saying optional call here, because for such questions, you might not know what to do. You might not understand the question, but you'll only take time till 60 seconds or 90 seconds max and come up with any solution whatsoever and then give that call. You will not waste time more than a minute or so for questions that you don't know how to solve. Just speak something, anything. Your anything would also get you 50% of marks. Okay? Just speak anything and let the examiner say, go to the next question, and you quickly jump on to the next question and make sure that next question, which you would know definitely some or the other way, you try to give in a better way so that you can adjust the marks lost in the earlier question in the other question, like that. So that presence of mind you should have. Are you following, students? Any more do's and don'ts? If not discussed now, if I realize it's going to be useful to you, I'll give it to you all. Read and study and understand these and assure me that you have understood all do's and don'ts anytime when you are doing it via self-study. Got it, students? These points will really help you. These points are the basic points where we end up making mistakes. All right, everyone? Okay. Any more questions? All right. Students, we'll start navigation a little late today because we are wrapping up late right now. So we'll start navigation at 2:30 we'll start. Take your afternoon break properly. 2:30 to 5 we'll learn. All right. So navigation students, meet me at 2:30, everyone. All right. All right, everyone. I'll see you all on Saturday. Enjoy your holidays. Anything else, reach out to me. And please keep explaining your concerns to me. All right. As you're doing it, those who are not doing it, keep sharing. And those who are doing it, keep sharing more. And if no concerns, then timely say, sir, no concerns, all good. Then I'll check whether you are right about your own analysis or not. All right. All the best. Well done. Thank you for being nice, silent class. I appreciate your attendance also regularly, students. Just make sure whatever you need, you bring it across. And no self-judgments, only focusing on upward curve. That's it. Upward
Sir?
curve. Yes, please.
I have seen you, writing in taxi clearance videos. I have seen you writing to turn right. You don't write turn right. Instead, you put arrow mark. Are we allowed to put arrow mark in exams, or do we write right turn, something like that?
We're allowed to use arrows.
Okay.
Students, just add one thing. Just remind me to send you all a list of abbreviations. I think Priyam, we have not sent it in the evening list also. I think we missed on that. So someone just keep reminding me somewhere. Just drop me a message on WhatsApp right now to send you a list of abbreviations. In that we have the symbols also that we can use. Up arrow for climb, down arrow for descend, and so on. So right arrow for turn right, left arrow for turn left, and so on. List of abbreviations and turn right, turn left. Mention that also, Neha. Okay. Turn right, turn left symbols. So yeah, that's it. Anything else, students? I'll wrap up and I'll see you all later in the evening for NAV, afternoon, and on Saturday, everyone else. Okay? Chalo. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Most welcome, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you, Neha.
Thank you, sir.
Most welcome.
Good day, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Hardik. Thank you.